Hello, and welcome to Girls Gaze Animes, where it is safe to love what you love and love who you love. I am your host, Valsaraptor, and I love egg Sandos. I'm here with my co-host, T.
I am T, and I love playing Minecraft with my friends and leaving a bunch of chickens in their house so they multiply and leave eggs all over the place as a special present for them to find.
Thanks, T. Please don't leave any surprise chickens in my home. We are here with our special co-host today, DokiDokiBunBun.
I'm DokiDokiBunBun, and I love when the villain is romanceable at the end of the Otome game.
Ooh la la.
Chef's
Okay.
kiss.
Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Today, our topic is that time DokiDokiBunBun and I went to Japan for 2 weeks and all I got was crippling credit card debt.
Same.
I didn't go, so I'm not in debt.
Brag.
Humble brag of staying home and not going to Japan.
I purposely didn't bring props with me today to kind of like showcase the different things that I bought because I wanted to make sure that I was adequately describing them because the majority of this recant is going to be me just going, well, I bought this and I bought that and I bought this and I bought, whereas I feel like BunBun had a different vacation than I did. I mean, she absolutely did spend an exorbitant amount of money. However, I do feel like she experienced more, but it's because it was her first time in Japan, where it was my second time in Japan.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you shopped a lot more than me. Not, like you said, my whole couch is covered in stuff I bought, and I've put things away, but you definitely bought, especially I feel like manga. I feel like you bought a lot more books than I bought.
I bought 3 books.
Never mind, I bought more books than
Actually,
you did.
you picked up a book for me, so 4 for
did.
me.
I still bought more books than you. Just kidding.
I thought you were going to be like, I bought 3 dozen.
I also thought that's what she was gonna. So when she, on the trip, she was like, well, my suitcase is so heavy because it's full of books. So
Those are the books that I brought with me to read on the trip.
we packed different.
We did. So, just super high level for UT, our trip was, we started off in Tokyo, we stayed there for a couple of days, and then we went on a 12-night cruise around Japan with a little pit stop over on Jeju Island in Korea.
Oh, that's neat.
It was really cool. So, because, like, I'd been on cruises before, but they'd all been, like, Caribbean-style cruises.
Yeah.
They'd also all been Disney cruises, full disclosure.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time she said, but on a Disney cruise they do this, I could have paid for the whole trip for everyone. Everyone would have been covered.
In my defense, I threatened to do that before we left, and I was true to my word.
That's true.
Much to my
Consistency.
husband's personal dismay.
You were honest up front.
He was like, if I hear you say on a Disney cruise one more time, wind it up.
Disrespectful.
So, for me, I guess, so jumping into, like, the trip, like I said, we started off in Tokyo. That was really cool. We just stayed, like, at a normal hotel. It was kind of Western style, with the exception of the bed being mostly on the floor. But we did some solo exploring, and then we went to Disney for a day. On the day that I went to the Ghibli Museum, BunBun went to Akihabara, I believe.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so we went and we got tattoos and ate ice cream in a park, and then we spent the rest of the day in Akihabara.
What tattoo did you get?
So my fiance,
Fianchi.
him and I got matching Red String of Fate tattoos. So
Aw.
I have to get it touched up because it was very hot in Japan, and I did not take that into account when getting a new tattoo, and I was very sweaty, and it disturbed the healing. But I just got like a little bow, and then he got just like a red string where his wedding band will go, which was bold.
Oh, cool.
Getting a wedding band tattoo before you propose. Very bold of him.
Yeah, so it should be noted that they got these tattoos before he even proposed to her. So they're
I knew he was
engagement
going
ones, but, like, not yet. But now they are.
Fine, it
Now
all
they're
worked out fine.
So you had this, like, super cutie, like, ooh, romance tattoos, and then, like, ice cream at a park, very, like, romance, slice of life, anime day, and then you weebed out in Akihabara for hours.
It really felt like 2 different days. Eating ice cream at the playground, I did feel like I was in an anime though. That might have been my favorite part of the whole trip. It was
That's
really
so
good ice cream
cute.
too. So we like went to the convenience store and just got like little ice creams out of the freezer and like, you know, split them and just sat there on a playground.
Speaking of, I think I sent you both the video. 7-Eleven in America now is owned by the same company as the Japan one, and they've already started rolling out some of the stuff. So there was a video they put up today on TikTok, and it was like egg sandos, and they got iced coffee and a bowl of ramen. I don't know what else they're getting. I really am hoping that they get onigiri.
Okay, it's so funny you
But
say that
we'll
because I
see.
saw this too. I saw it as well, and someone commented, add the onigiri and I'll eat 7-Eleven for every meal. And then 7-Eleven commented, working on it, BB.
Excellent,
go.
top tier. It's funny that you said that you like egg sandos because I sent that video to you
Mhm.
and knowing you're vegan, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think you can eat any of this, but look what they.
So one important distinction to make about trips, my husband and I, we have this rule that whenever we're traveling internationally, we go vegetarian. I mean, he eats fish normally, but he normally doesn't have eggs and dairy. So when we go on trips, we basically add dairy and eggs back into our diet. So in Japan, I was pounding an egg sando one a day minimum.
Minimum. She had them in her
Minimum.
purse.
I was
I
carrying
feel
egg sandos around Japan.
I'd be like, I'm feeling a little peckish. And she'd be like, I got you. Do you want this one? I have different brands, different convenience stores in here. But it wasn't like different convenience stores meaning different items. It was all egg sandos, just different stores in
I
her bag.
had maybe 4 or 5 different egg sandos. And that's like egg sandos from different places. So
Yeah.
on some days I'd have 2 egg sandos from the same place, you know, I've got my preferences, but then like certain like areas have different egg sandos, certain convenience stores, different flavor profile. It's really an art. It's like a 5-star Michelin experience having different egg sandos around Japan.
Michelin experience.
I think I told you
They
this
don't even have
before.
5 stars in Michelin. They only go up to 3.
This is a cut above the rest. I think I told you this before, Val, but when I was pregnant with my son, I wanted an egg salad sandwich so bad. And growing up, like, not that I hated them, I just did not care for them. Like, my grandpa loved egg salad, and he would make it frequently, and I'm like, ew, gross. But my pregnant brain was like, you need an egg salad sandwich. So I tried to make a Japanese-style egg salad sandwich. And I cooked them in the air fryer, and it turned out fine. I don't know how, but it did. And keep in mind, I don't like egg salad that much. I cooked 6 eggs, used the whole thing to make the egg salad. I ate all 6 eggs in that sandwich in one sitting. My husband comes upstairs, and I'm just sitting there with a sandwich that's like this thick. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm crying, and I'm like, "This is the best sandwich I've ever had in my whole life."
Oh my god.
And I have not eaten an egg salad sandwich since.
It's just the one the whole time.
One
That
giant
day, I
egg
just
sando.
needed that sandwich, and I tore it apart. Also, cooking them in your air fryer apparently works perfectly fine. I did not want to, like, boil them or anything. I just dropped them right into the air fryer, and they came out perfect.
Rice cookers work too. That's how I make mine. You just put them in the little tray you can put in your rice cooker.
Yeah.
Does all the work for you.
So T just finished telling us how she was eating a disgusting amount of eggs during her pregnancy, and her
In one
original
sitting.
and her original disgust for the eggs reminded me of that one bit on Game Changers, I think, with Zach Oyama and Brendan Lee Mulligan, where Brennan is like the devil on Zach's shoulder, and he convinces Zach to eat like a windowsill egg, and it's like this rotten egg, and he's like, just do it. Been there, it's for you to eat. And he's like, okay, and he eats it and then throws up, and he's like, eat the other egg, and he's like, and that's what it reminded me of.
More egg?
It was the deviled egg on his shoulder. I think that was the joke he made.
Oh,
All
no,
right.
deviled eggs. I could tear up a tray of those.
Oh, that was the other thing I was gonna say is you were like, ugh, disgusting, eating 6 eggs. And there's that joke where it's like, How would you like 6 hard-boiled eggs? And it's like, ew, no thank you. And it's like, okay, what about if I were to cut them in half and then mix the insides with mayonnaise? And you're like, yes, sign me up for 6 eggs.
A little sprinkle of paprika on them.
I could talk about eggs for a disgusting amount of time, apparently, so I'm gonna segue us off of talking about eggs. I was gonna get on my high horse about deviled eggs and the proper way to make them and how in the Midwest they don't know, but I've grown and I'm gonna not get on my soapbox here today.
You're a new woman.
This is not the forum for it. We are here to talk about Japan.
That's the Patreon content where we talk about eggs.
Yeah, we like squish deviled eggs with our toes and stuff.
Ugh.
You guys into that?
I refuse.
Next time on Game Grumps.
Oh my gosh.
No.
My husband's been watching the Grumps play one of the Phoenix Wright games while, like, okay, so we'll be playing Phoenix Wright, and then when I get too tired to stay awake, then he just puts them on playing Phoenix Wright. And I just keep falling asleep to, like, them screaming in their girly high-pitched voices. I'm like, why am I asleep right now?
All of their lady
Soothing.
voices are so bad.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled content. So,
Scene.
Right? So yeah, I ate a lot of good food because I went vegetarian while I was there. I think, so for me, the moment was, it's BunBun, she's like finally in Japan. We're like trying to navigate our way through the subway system. And my poor husband, he's on his phone, he's scrambling, trying to figure out what train we got to get on. We've got so much luggage, it's disgusting because I overpack. And yet I did wear nearly everything that I packed in my defense. But my husband's like scrambling around and I'm like, ooh, is that a Family Mart vending machine? Is that an egg Sando I see over there? And so of course I walk over, I throw my little yen in, or I use my Suica pass and I buy my first egg Sando, and everyone else is famished and I'm like chomping away and I'm like, they got egg Sandos. And then BunBun's like, do they have the fruit sandwiches? Because that was like her thing. She's like, I have to get the cream and the fruit, like little sandwiches. You see them all the time. They're iconic.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It wasn't Cool Whip this whole time. And I think that's exactly what I said when I took a bite. I want to be very clear. They are delicious. It was super good. But like I took a bite and the bread was so good. But I thought it was going to be like whipped cream in the middle. And it's like pudding. It's like some type of pudding mixture. I don't know. And then there's like only fruit in the front. So it's not like fruit evenly throughout the whole sandwich. It's just in the cute spot. So it was very good, but I think I was so disappointed it wasn't a whipped cream and fruit sandwich that I don't know that I ever recovered from that.
You hyped it up too much in your head, and then when you actually got it, it just wasn't it.
It looked so good. Like, people would eat it on TikTok, you'd see them in anime, and it looked so aesthetically pleasing. How could something that cute not be Cool Whip?
So that one was aesthetic and the taste wasn't quite on, but I know that there were a couple other aesthetic things that you were like looking to consume while you were there that I think you did and that you liked more. Do I need to list the things that you ate while we were there?
Please.
So it's
Please insert pictures for our viewers at home.
So the glass sugar strawberries.
Those were really good, very sharp. Please put in the comments how you're supposed to eat them, because I don't think I did it right. I was concerned I like hurt myself while eating them every time, but they were delicious. The strawberries were so good, like so good in Japan. But very glass-like.
That was something that I had the first time I went, and absolutely agree. Difficult to consume, but very aesthetic.
Those are the ones where they dip them in the sugar and it like hardens on the outside.
But it's like perfectly clear, so like they have to heat the sugar to like a specific temperature and like maintain consistency for a certain amount of time, yada yada. The other, it's not really aesthetic, it's more trendy thing that you ate, because I was eating one. I had two while I was there this time, was the 10 yen coin.
Really good. The cheese pull on that, very impressive, and it was very good. It felt like a big like cheesy waffle. It's like someone stuffed their waffle full of cheese is how I would describe it.
Right, it's like more like the waffle is sweeter than you would expect.
Like a Belgian waffle?
Sweeter. No, and like the texture was, I think I just said waffle because it was sweet in that way. Because like when I looked at it, I expected like a mozzarella stick
Mhm.
type flavor.
Same.
Like I
Mhm.
expected something a bit more savory, but it was very sweet. Which in general, though, speaking of food, one thing I will say that I don't think I expected was just how well done sweets were in general. Like nothing was like overly sugary sweet. Everything had like this really nice like toned back balance of sweetness. And I
That's
thought
what
that
I've
was
heard.
really good. That was probably my favorite part, was just being able to like gorge on sweets and not feeling gross like every single time I would eat one. It was
Another,
exciting.
I absolutely agree. And another like peak, like Japan experience for me related to maybe sweet slightly, but it's just being thirsty and looking to my left and seeing a vending machine and then quenching my thirst with whatever beverage I want, whether it's a hot coffee, an iced coffee, like not really, not even sodas, but like flavored waters,
Apple
Mhm.
juice.
appy
I
juice,
miss the appy juice.
strawberry
Our appy
milk.
juice, not good.
No.
That's
There was
sappy.
this like one grape juice that I had, and I'm going to dream about it for the rest of my life. But it was like filled with these like round little jellies, but they weren't like jello jellies. They were like slightly firm, and it felt like bottled boba almost.
Ah.
And I found it in a random vending machine in
I remember what you're talking about, but I really
I guess let's list out all the places that we went that we can remember, because my memory's trash and I feel like we haven't even told T where we went. So
Tokyo
we definitely went there. Yep.
did it.
I heard you guys went to Tokyo.
Oh my gosh, did you know? We went to Tokyo.
Surprise.
No way.
We did Kyoto, Osaka, Kobe,
Mhm.
and then I went to Nara during one of those days as well. But she
Oh yeah, you saw the
didn't.
deer, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Precious. Then we also went to Mount Fuji. We went to Jeju Island. We went to
Kagoshima.
Kagoshima, Hiroshima. Part of Hiroshima was like Miyajima Island, which was really, really pretty.
Based on the list I'm definitely not looking at on the other computer screen, no, you got them all.
Nailed
Nice.
it. So, one thing that I liked this time, because the last time I went, I only did Tokyo and Kyoto/Osaka. I liked seeing the other, like, kind of like regions and seeing how the different cities were like so different, either from like a building, a structural, like architectural standpoint, seeing the different flora even, because there was one area that we were in and I was like, wow, it feels like so much more humid here, but we were like closer to a mountain and there was a lot of greenery, where other areas it was more like city style and the other side it was like more country city-ish.
I completely agree. It was wild to me how different each major city looked. Like comparing like Tokyo to like Kagoshima is wild, because like Kagoshima to me looked like something out of like a Studio Ghibli film. Like
Yes.
it was crazy different. It was also very interesting, and I mean it's the same, I feel like anywhere. It's the same here in the US, but just like the way that like customer service, for example, or like people you would interact with was also very different. Like out of everywhere we went, I feel like the people in Kagoshima were so not, I mean, we met tons of nice people, but they were just so nice and so kind. I had like so many people like stop and just like talk to me about random things, and like they were just very sweet. So it was cool.
Yeah, when we were in, I think it was Kagoshima, we were walking through like a shopping district and there were a bunch of like little old ladies there doing calligraphy, and they were offering just like free calligraphy to anyone who wanted, but I'm pretty sure they knew that it was like a drop-off location for like tour buses and stuff, and so they're like beckoning people over. They were accepting donations, but they weren't like asking. It was just one of those things where it's like if someone offered, they like pulled out something from out of the back. It wasn't even like something open on the table like asking for donations. And so they were like talking to you, and some of them spoke really good English, and my husband's been practicing Japanese, and he, told them like, I speak a little Japanese in Japanese. And before he could even finish the sentence, they were like squealing and giggling and like pointing at him. And I thought they were gonna steal him, honestly. But they had us like write down our names, and then they like sounded out our names and tried to figure out how to like write them in kanji. And my full name is, there is not an easy way to do it. In fact, we went up to them and I was talking to my husband, I was like, let's just give them something else to write instead of my name. Because they basically came up with like a kanji and then added a Y to the end of it to make the sound do what it was supposed to do. And I was like, nah, it's fine. But they wrote our names and then they handed us the calligraphy pen and were like, now you. And I looked at this sheet and I looked at them and I was like, So then she grabs my hand and is like guiding my hand, helping me draw it on there. And then she's like, yay, good job. But like, while we were there doing this, they were commenting, they were like, oh my gosh, your tattoos are so cute. They're so pretty. And they were like, you know, not for us, but they look so good. And like, we love to see them. But, you know, like, we wouldn't get them sort of thing. But it was just sweet. Because it's something that, like, as someone who's heavily tattooed, when I first went to Japan, I was worried about it. But so many times, like, I'd be somewhere and I would just hear people, like, talking about how kawaii my tattoos are and, like, pointing and, like, asking questions about them, being like, oh, is this that? And I think my favorite one is when BunBun and I were looking at hairpins and someone comes up to me and they're like, is that a haiku tattoo? And all it is a juice box. But she fucking spotted that shit. And she came up to me and she was like, is that a haiku tattoo? And I was like, yes, it is. And that is the only person to ever, like, spot it because it's such a low-key design that I was like, I feel validated. And my design choices.
Recognized real.
Yes. So I love that. That was kind of like my, like, experience with, they were super nice. I love the people there. I've never had a bad experience, I would say. The only thing, and I did have a little bit of a mental breakdown while I was there because I was trying to find a pair of shoes. And I have big ass feet. And so the closest I've gotten to someone being rude to me, and this is on my last trip, I went up to this woman and I'm holding this shoe and I say, hi, do you have this in a size 11? She holds up her index fingers, making like a field goal, like, and she goes, 11? And she's already starting to laugh. And I go, yeah, 11. And she just starts laughing and she's like, no, I'm sorry, no. And I was like, okay, cool. Shouldn't have to laugh, but it's fine. And so this time I didn't have, I mean, it was a similar experience. I was looking for a shoe.
Laugh.
He didn't laugh. He apologized a lot. He felt really bad, but then he suggested that I check the men's section, which I didn't love.
An ideal.
No, but they were, again, they were very sweet about it, and it's something that, like, I recognize is hard, but an 8.5 shoe size, XL to them.
Oh, wow, really?
That's disrespectful. Not that I would know. I mean, I have, like, the smallest feet in the world.
Very
obviously.
dainty,
like,
very cute feet. Great for squishing eggs.
No, but... So rude.
For squishing eggs.
Sorry, you were saying?
I don't know what I was saying. I'm too traumatized by eggs now. I couldn't tell you.
You'll never look at an egg the same way again.
After seeing Valsaraptor's jaw unhinge as she just shoved baskets of egg Sandos into her face, I already think I'm pretty egg traumatized.
You don't understand, like, if I knew that I was gonna have time to run to the convenience store in the morning, I'd stop at night and I'd stock up my fridge with egg Sandos in advance.
It is interesting, though, because, like, we talked about all these foods that, like, I was so excited to try, but I think my favorite thing I ate was a shrimp sandwich.
From Starbucks. Yeah.
It was so good, though. It was just bread and lettuce and Kewpie mayo and some little shrimpies, but... Oh, and some avocado. That was the best sandwich I've ever had in my whole life.
The simplest things are always the best things. Like with the egg Sandos, you know what's in it. You can name like 3 ingredients and it's gonna slap.
That was so good.
One of my favorite things that I know BunBun hated that I ate while I was there, but we went to Kura. I personally went to Kura, I think, 3 times while I was there, which is like average for me. The last time I went to Japan, I went to Kura at least 3 times as well. And we were there for 2 weeks.
And that's like a convenient... Wait, what is that?
Oh,
sushi.
It's a chain revolving sushi place, and they actually have them in the U.S. I think there's some in your area.
Insert state here.
On the East Coast.
I think there's maybe one within 2 hours of you. Check it out. They're good. So in the U.S., for perspective, this revolving sushi chain, it's $3.44. No, they upped the price. It's $3.60 per plate, and each plate either has like 2 pieces of nigiri or like 4 pieces of a roll, whatever. In Japan, at Kura, a single plate of sushi there is 150 yen. which is less than a single $1. So BunBun and I went on a little girls' date. We ate plates of sushi, plates on plates. We had Plum. Was it Plum?
Plum wine and soda.
Plum wine and soda.
Oh, nice.
And then we also had shaved ice cream thingies. And it was like $25.
And we ate a lot of sushi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm like, when I go there, I know I'm gonna eat a shit ton. Just because it's so reasonably priced.
I put on 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I just checked, and you're right, there is one at least in a 3-mile radius of me.
3 miles?
Or 3 hour. Sorry, 3 hour.
Like,
3
whoa,
mile.
How did you
I'm
not
going
know it was
right
there?
now.
Man.
I am in the boondocks.
I was just gonna say my favorite food at Kura, because I don't really like going to Kura here because they don't have a ton of vegetarian options.
Yeah.
Or vegan options rather, and there weren't a ton of vegan options there either, but again, I'm vegetarian while I'm there. One thing that I don't think BunBun was expecting was when we went to Kura about how I was throwing a tantrum at the Kuras that we went to if they didn't have a fried piece of American cheese on top of rice for me to eat. That's one of the nigiris there. They take a little cube of American cheese slice, they batter it in like panko or something, deep fry it, throw it on top of a little pallet of rice, and then they drizzle maybe a little like a sweet ponzu on top. And I'm like, yum, delish. I'll take 3.
I just imagine they're taking like a craft single and they're like delicately breading it.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. I think that's what it is.
We got American sushi at home.
But even American sushi isn't a craft single on rice.
Yeah. That's what they think American sushi.
I
I'll
don't know
take it.
that I can judge too hard after how many times I went to McDonald's. So they had.
What about your
this-
milkshake thing?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
They had. I don't know for anyone out there who's played Kingdom Hearts games. So yes. So there's the sea salt popsicles that they have. And they had it wasn't branded as Kingdom Hearts, but I saw this thing. It was a sea salt lychee milkshake, and it's like bright blue. And I saw it, and I was like, that's the Kingdom Hearts popsicle. And
They
if
know
I
what
don't-
they're doing.
Yeah, I was like, if I don't put that in my body, I'll die right here, right now. And it was the most delicious thing I've ever had in my life. I now do associate it with the popsicle, and I've already been trying to find a copycat recipe online because I will die without it. It was so good though, because it was like, I don't know, I feel like when you have like salt desserts here, they're always like aggressively salty.
Yeah.
But this like, I'm trying to think of how I would even describe it. The lychee flavor was really present, but it almost reminded me of like a Goes beer. So it like had that like, it felt like I was drinking a lychee milkshake at the ocean, and I just smelled the ocean while drinking it. That's the best way. That's the only way I can describe this milkshake. That's all I got.
That sounds lovely.
It was so nice. It was really good.
I'll add, sometimes like the flavors of things in Japan are muted, but the aromatics to whatever you're consuming really pushes it over. Like you don't need the flavor to be there because the aromatics takes you there.
Cantaloupe Pocky.
That's what I'm talking about. It was
That
so
sounds
good.
lovely.
Yeah, we had some cantaloupe Pocky, and if I couldn't smell, I don't know that I would say it just was sweet.
Yeah.
But it smelled like the like freshest cantaloupe that was just cut open. Like, it was wild how good it smelled.
That's what I like about travel. Like you said, oh, I went to McDonald's a lot, but it's not the same as a McDonald's here. Like when I was in college, excuse me, when I was in college, I went to Italy for a month, and we went to McDonald's, and they had a Nutella, like, what was it? McFlurry. And it was so good.
So
And
good.
I dream about it. And like we got Italian Chinese food just so we could compare it to like Americanized Chinese food. And you don't think to do something like that, but we were like, look, we already have a base of this. We already know what we expect from McDonald's. We know what we expect from Chinese food. Let's try a different twist on that and see how it compares.
When a few years ago I traveled to Korea, and at the time I wasn't vegan or vegetarian, and my favorite thing to eat there was KFC. They do fried chicken right. Like
Oh, yeah.
the chicken itself is like actually seasoned, which I'm like, what? But like it was like one of those spices but not overly spicy, even just like their regular flavor. And the other people that we traveled with, they had great things to say about the KFCs in Japan as well.
That's true. I did not partake in the KFCs.
I think my internet glitched out. All I heard was, that's true. And then I did not participate in KFC. So yeah, I think that covers most of the food we ate. No, wait, I lied. So while we were in, let's cover the food and then we'll cover like the other stuff that I spent my money on. The other thing that I ate that I will dream about is, it's a hybrid of all of things that I enjoy in Japan. So it was like, the first time I went to Japan, I had okonomiyaki. And I was like, I gotta get it again. And my husband kept being like, wait till we go to Miyajima Island. They're known for their okonomiyaki. But they do it like a different style. They do it with like noodles underneath it.
Oh, yum.
So we went, and it's one of those dishes where it's normally prepared like kind of in front of you, and we were running late. So I was like, shoot, I'm not gonna get to get my okonomiyaki. So we're like walking along, and we pass this place, and they're selling sandwich. And I was able to get an okonomiyaki sandwich from this place on Miyajima Island.
How was that in comparison to a regular okonomiyaki?
It was a totally different experience, but the sandwich is something I had my mouth full of this like fluffy sandwich bread and this like delicious okonomiyaki, and I just looked at my husband and I was like, this isn't the food that I deserve, but it is the food that I wanted. And I'm surprised he could even understand what I was saying. I was just so happy, mouth full of like fluffy bread, okonomiyaki, and noodles and egg and cabbage. It was so good.
That sounds good. That makes me think of, and I've only seen like 3 episodes, but I know the memes of iCarly, how they have like the spaghetti tacos or whatever. Like, it's like, I would never think to put okonomiyaki in a sandwich, but that sounds good.
And honestly, if it weren't for the bread, I don't know that I would have liked it as much. Something about their bread there, it just is, it's unreal.
Like super fluffy, and like the flavor, I don't even know how to explain the flavor to it, but it's definitely different. Like even just like their white bread, like it tastes very different.
I feel like our bread here has like a bread flavor, and their bread like doesn't.
It's almost milky. No, I don't like the way that sounds, but that's not it.
No, but I know what you mean, because it is like milk based, whereas ours is like more yee, and I hate this word yeasty. God, I hate saying
now we've
yeasty.
said a bunch of words we don't like.
Check us out on Patreon for more content. No. There, at my local farmer's market, there used to be, last year, there was this vendor, and they got super popular because the wife was Japanese, and she would make Japanese milk bread. And the line would, like, it was the longest line in the farmer's market. Like, it would wrap down the street. And I don't even remember what else they would make, because that's all I cared about. That's what I wanted. And then they moved away at the end of the season, and I follow them on like social media, and they haven't really been doing much, but like people will still message our like local chat for the farmers market and be like, whatever happened to the milk bread people? What happened to the milk bread people? It was so good. And it had such like you said, it was such a distinct flavor. It's so good. It was so light and fluffy, and it was like such good quality. If you didn't eat it within like 2 days, it would start to mold. Like, you had to eat it. It was just, it was amazing.
Yep.
So
that wraps up our food segment.
We're like almost an hour and a half in.
That's all, folks. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening. If you've got any other questions or comments or want pictures of our feet, leave us some notes in the comments. I'm not saying you're gonna get pics of our feet, but if you want them, let us know. It's good to know.
I don't want to know. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. Thanks so much for having me.
Bye.